Greetings from the Eccentric Man, and a little tryout. I've set up my webcam settings and we're just giving it a go, a little bit of live streaming. Not sure how it will come up just yet, but we're just working on our auxiliaries for infamy. Those ones are the Eccentric plastics, and we'll see how these come up. Looking at how I've got to sort out and change around the settings and where I paint and where I don't paint. I'm about 5 to 6 inches away from the webcam. I think it's the 920 from whoever they are, Logitech C920. So just building up the colours. So I'm doing the arms the shield separate, so it's easier to paint them. I've got them on a old tongue depressor, and I'll do the reverse of those, because the reverse of the shield is always a tricky one to get painted. There you go, you can see them just there. So we've set them up onto that. We'll paint up the backs, stick them on once the rest of the model has been painted up, and then do the fronts. I've got the Eccentric, not the Eccentric, the Little Big Men shields again to do them, the transfers, which are always very nice, and they've come out really well on the previous figures. So if you haven't already seen it, there is on Too Fat Lardy's website, on the YouTube site. They've got the orders of battle for the Romans, they've done the Germans, and they've just released the British forces. We were wondering what the chariot numbers were going to be like, and what they've said was they were going to be 4, then they were going to be 3, and now they're back to 2, or not back to, but they are at 2. So I'm just picking up Facebook to see if it is actually working, because we're running it through OBS. So let's see if we can find my channel and see where we are. Yep, there we go. That's picking it up. I'm just picking up Facebook to see if I can see that one person's watching. That's probably me, I would hazard a guess, which is amusing, isn't it? Whether it's streaming. Is it streaming or is it not streaming? I wonder if the video settings are running it right. That's probably me, I would hazard a guess, which is amusing, isn't it? Anyway, whether that's the case, whether it is actually streaming or not. Whether it's streaming, is it streaming or is it not streaming? I wonder if the video settings are running it right. So it might be that the I can see it on the OBS software on the computer. Whether it is actually streaming or not. But seeing it as a test, so we'll see how it goes. I can see it on the, it records okay to the computer. Software on the computer. Looks like I'm going to have to go back over those. It records okay to the computer. It might be that we have to record it and then post it, which is a bit of a shame. I'm going to have to go back over those. It might be that we have to record it and then post it, which is a bit of a shame. Let's just check what's going on. Let's just check what's going on. Well, I do not know, because when I flicked onto the screen, onto Facebook, it was actually playing, but then it stopped. So, very confusing. I might have to have a look and see if it's actually working on my iPad. Get the iPad out rather than flick between the screens on the computer. So bear with me while I stop painting the figure and check Facebook on iPad. Let's just finish this one for the minute. I probably need to get a bit more. Yeah, that paint is pretty thick there. I need to get my wet palette out, I think, and use that. I'm just using the art palette at the moment, and things tend to dry up a little bit. Could also do with getting a new paintbrush. This is my Series 7, but it has seen better days now. Oh, I could probably do with having my stronger glasses on as well, because this is at the top end of my reading glasses, having it this close. But hey, that's how things go. Yeah, got to remember where I put my arms to rest to keep the figure in fairly good central position on the video. Right, so he's got his base coat so far. So let's check out and set up the iPad. Still tells me that it's recording and streaming. Let's have a look. Pick up my channel. Well, I think that's possibly working. Pick up my channel. Where can I stick this? Just not the light. Well, yeah, that's showing that it's still working and running through. Where can I stick this? Just not the light. But there is a little bit of drag, well, not yeah, drag. Showing that it's right, so okay then, that's there, that's there. Let's get a bit more water into my paint because it's dried up a little bit. And then I can set up my wet palette for future. So I don't know how long I'll get to paint here. My services might be required elsewhere in the house. I've got my wife working in the upstairs, one of the upstairs bedrooms, which is converted into a craft room, which is now converted into her office. So she's working from home. Upstairs we've got my eldest daughter who's living with us, and she is also working from home in her bedroom on her works laptop. And then I'm down here. The dogs have forsaken me. They have all run upstairs, and they're in the dog beds in my wife's home office. And there's me. Morning Paul, and morning Leslie. Gonna have to try and get used to looking at the iPad screen and seeing chat. And I don't know if that automatically loads in. I don't know. It's all fairly new, the technology. I've tried to go into properties on the camera to get the focus a little bit better and sort of the brightness of the image. It's possibly a little bit light because I've got my daylight lamp, which is to the back of the camera, but it's at least shining on the figure within that. Yeah, if I put my proper painting glasses on, I can't actually see focus very closely on other things. So yeah, it's just a trade-off between camera, glasses and things like that. What I do find tricky is fingers. So you hope the wash will sort of run in between the fingers and give them a bit of a delineation, if that's the word that we're looking for, so that you can actually see the lines between them. So just blocking in the colours on the face. The wash should bring out the features a little bit more, and then we can highlight after that. So units of 8 for the auxiliary for infamy. So that's okay. And so far, base coat, the primer is actually, if I go through the colours that I've used, no, it is in fact if you can see that, it is the acrylic polyurethane surface primer from Vallejo, which is dark yellow, German dark yellow. So it's Dunkelgelb, and it's the primer that I use on all plastic figures, and it should be done with an airbrush, but I can't be bothered to set it up, so we do that. Hi Leon, nice to see you along. Yeah. Dark yellow. I do like it. It goes on thin, but it dries nicely and it gives a good base to the paint. So that's the Dunkelgelb for that. Base colours, I'm using Iron Breaker for the metal. The brown is Mornfang brown. Then German, what we got then? Beige brown for the leggings and the footwear. Tuscarora fur for the base colour for the face. The blue is Prussian blue, and the red is Mephiston blue. And I can't remember, for the life of me, what I painted the spear shafts with last time around. So yeah, that's gone out of my head totally. So I'll have to get my box out of the cupboard and have a look. I've got a thinking that I probably went beige brown with it. I've done a lot of the wood of the guns that I paint for other figures. I've either done Vallejo new wood or Vallejo orange brown, because when you put a soft tone cover over it, the wash works quite nice. So it does work quite well. If I'm painting metal figures, let's grab one. So this, oh, where am I going? There we go. This is one of the new North Star Miniatures French Indian Wars figures. So what I've done is I've given them a cover with GW Xandridust. So I like painting on this sort of colour background. Sometimes I'll paint, I'll do the Games Workshop whatever it's called, the grey one that they put out, grey sear or whatever it is. So there you can see I've got Wellington to paint. I've had Wellington on my painting table for about 4 months. I just haven't got around to painting him yet. Other things get in the way, as you know. Yeah, they are really nice minis, the North Star ones, and they go in quite well with the Galloping Major that I like. Those are the ones that I did for Becca's Command Challenge. So yeah, they're quite nice. They come up very nicely. I've given them a coat of gloss varnish and Army Painter anti-shine matte, so they're a little bit more robust, which is good. Yeah, I do need to investigate more the other sources for primers, because the Xandridust is not cheap. It is not cheap at all. But I use the colour an awful lot on terrain and figures. So let's have a look at something else on my painting table. Javis for terrain. Xandri Dust Rocks, and that is orange. I think that's new wood probably for the base. But if I'm painting rocks and things, it will be a Xandri Dust base coat. What I did for the well from Iron Gate Factory. Iron Gate? Yeah, Iron Gate Miniatures. Alright, what do we need? Where have I put it? A bit of paint. Hey Paul, how you doing? We're all rooting for you. You got a new plan? Yeah, I got a new plan. All these new plans, people have done bases. Little I can't even say it. Little scenic bases. And I'm thinking, oh, perhaps I need to do a bit more for that. But I don't tend to do many scenic bases for my commands, because the rules that I tend to use don't call for them. But infamy, probably I could get away with a base. I don't know. I don't know. Where are we? It's very odd watching yourself on Facebook painting. Yeah, I bet you have some impressive scars to yeah. Yeah. Have a look at these scars. Oh, good grief. I went to the consultants because I've had problems with my shoulders for some time now, and in 2004 I had operations on both collarbones to improve the rotational joints, and they took a centimetre off of each collarbone towards the shoulder joint, and I got some rather big scars that run in a vertical vertical direction. But the consultant at the time did say that if I wore a bra, it would cover them. So that was good advice from him. The last consultant I went to, because I'm getting ongoing problems with them, when he got the X-rays, did say that the previous surgeon was a little bit, possibly a little bit too aggressive in the surgery, and he said you could drive a London bus through the gap, which is not quite right, but I get the idea. But anyway, it did cure the problem at the time, so we've got a few little problems that have come from that as a result of the surgery, but we're now a good 16 years down the line. Wow. So yeah, but the last trip to them, I had an injection of cortisone, and that did help. So I'm due to see him again in about another 2 weeks. So I'm hoping perhaps another jab, and then that should sort out the problems with the left shoulder, which is a bit of a problem. Yeah. It's what you don't see because you're asleep, fortunately, and how they work it and what they do. I mean, fortunately, the last bit of surgery was keyhole, which was really useful. The previous surgery to the shoulder was certainly not keyhole. Brushes. Brush selection time. Let's drop to a smaller one. These are getting tricky to actually hit. I'm waiting for the postman to arrive. I'm hoping to get a tower from Fenris Games at some stage. It's one from the Rubble City collection. It looks rather nice. It will go very nice with Congo and many other games that we play. Yeah, hopefully the legionaries should turn out much like these ones are the sort of command that I'm doing, and we're still working our way. This has had to wash, and I'm putting the highlights on them, but they and I've got to do the lions stuff. So yeah, God, it's like doing things in reverse with the camera. But yeah, that's in with the eagle on top, and then the Optio is coming along. I mean, the armour was done just the same, but what I do is I put a wash of soft tone over it, and then I put a wash of null oil over the top, and it gives it a nice sort of a finish to it. Yeah, so the wash is soft tone. I've been changed to soft tone. My go-to was Agrax, but one of my friends said use soft tone because that's what I've been using. That was John, who does the painting in our game against. He does an awful lot of painting because he was doing commission painting, and he was using the armor painting dip but brushing it on, you know, the varnish type one, but it was taking too long for the figures to dry, so he moved on to the soft tone, and I found that the soft tone works really nicely. So I've stuck to the soft tone, and then if I'm doing metals I'll use a soft tone, and then I'll go over with the null oil just to give them that colder look to them. So that's how we've changed on that sort of side. Yes. Yeah, just having a quick look at the comments. Yeah, that's yeah, the soft tone for whites. Yeah, I was finding that Agrax was too harsh for whites, so that's when I went to sort of soft tone. But I've put soft tone over the top of them all now, and it seems to be working for what I do. So we'll stick with that at the moment. Paintbrush clogging up. Yeah, it might take you a bit of time to comment on all the videos, Paul. There is a load of them. Well, I don't think I've picked up all of them. Certainly picking up new channels, but oh dear. Yeah, you'll probably hear if the postman arrives. I've got early warning system, and that's the dogs, and they go wild. Oh, good, it still seems to be in focus, which is a bonus. Right, FaceTime. This is the bits I always find difficult on these. Is the face. As I say, my glasses are not good. And if I put my painting glasses on, I can't read the text on the iPad. What a state to be in. So, yeah. I was due, before this coronavirus set in, I was due to go and get my eyes tested. But I think that's a bit on hold at the moment. Oh, must remember to make sure where my arms are and the camera is. Yep, that one wasn't so good. Oh, well, that should work. Yeah, they are really enclosed in these helmets. I could probably do with this is a 00 brush, but I could probably go with one smaller, but I don't have one. That's your problem. So this seems to work, and I've got a reasonable seems to have a reasonable focus on it, just about. The next thing is that I'm hoping tonight is to get the old tabletop simulator streaming on this. I'm hoping John might be free tonight. It was his 60th birthday yesterday, and his eldest daughter is living back home with him at the moment through this. So she cooked him a meal last night, and he was on the old video connections with his granddaughters, who are elsewhere located at the moment, as families tend to be. My youngest daughter, she's off with her elder, or I should say my middle daughter and her husband on the other side of the town. So they're keeping themselves occupied. he has done some cracking paintings of Spitfires, and he's currently doing a Lancaster bomber, and they are rather good. If I can catch some pictures, I'll put them up at some stage. But he is pretty good. I mean, both him and my daughter are artists, and they paint different things, but they are very good. Alright, so that's the sort of the faces done. Cool, close-up cameras really show you bits and pieces that you don't get, doesn't it, really? Ah, yes, locked down. Yeah, this is starting our 3rd week into lockdown. I try to go out only twice a week, and that's to top up on a bit of bread and a little bit of shopping elsewhere. So yeah, what else have we got on our little tabletop up here? Other bits and pieces you might have seen if you're on Twitter. I do tend to post a lot more on Twitter. So if you are on Twitter and you want to follow us, have a look at _eccentric man, as I sort of tend to post things as I'm going along. Bit of American Civil War with the Perry plastics. Oh, did you see that? The first one I picked up, a strap. Not good. Where's some black? Oh, we got black grey. Don't know. Let's give it a bit of black grey. Ah, yes, there will be battle reports for Infamy. There certainly will be. The if I can, I haven't spoken to Richard from Two Fat Lardies yet, but if I can get that really needs to be a black grey's not good enough. The base coat of this was Panzer Grey from Vallejo Air. So, but yeah, I don't really like these Perry plastic figures. They'll do, but I don't really like them. I'm tempted to go down the route of First Corps from that might be it. Yeah, watch that. I've sent that over to my friend John because he's putting together the British Army to go against my Romans. So yeah, I think he's got 3 chariots, I think, at the moment. So he's going to have to get a 4th to do 2 units of elite warriors. Right, I'm going to bite the bullet, and we'll go for beige brown for the spear shafts. I can't be bothered to get up and go and have a look for them. I've packed them away, I think. I'm sure I've used it. Don't think I've gone that colour. So back to our bigger brush, the one. I'll show you my go-to brush pot. It's worth a fortune. Well, it would have been worth a fortune if I haven't used the old brushes. Let's have a look. I've got some ABC brushes, but they don't last very well or very long. God, look at that. That is my reserve. That's a series 1 that I haven't broken into yet, but it's getting close. Getting close. I do tend to pamper myself with those brushes. I think the Caesarian is going to be next up. Yeah, that's the only problem with us is getting hobby supplies. The local store, Lost Ark, which I go to and where John works, they were doing online sales, but what they realised was that they're not making enough on online sales to cover anything, to cover wages and things like that. So they've got to go close down so that they can actually take advantage of the government furlough stuff. So sadly they've had to close down, and it looks like it'll have to be purchasing things over Amazon or off of eBay, and I prefer to do the local store. But anyway, these are my 4 go-to brushes. What have we got? We've got a 1 miniature brush, a 00 miniature brush, my oldest one, which, as you can see, the tops are losing. They're losing the tops. But I mean, I've had these for months and months and months. And this one is starting to get a little bit worse for wear. Yep, take care and see you later. What I have got that I've been using is the old brush cleaner. And if Leon still sees that, there you go, look at that. I did manage to get myself some, and it works okay when I remember to do it, which is always the case, remembering to do it, isn't it? Right, let's give a bit more water into my spear colour with a different type of brush. Yeah, if you missed it at the beginning, I don't paint the hand. It's not that he's wearing a grey glove. I just don't paint the hand because it will go into the back of the shield. So to make a better seal with the glue, we just do it that way. So let's get the spear shafts done. This is always going to be a dodgy bit. Got to check out the time. Oh, 11:52. Not so bad then. But in my role of caretaker now in the house, because of the other people working, I'm chief cook and bottle washer. Mind you, I was always chief cook, but I'm now chief bottle washer as well. Looks like I need to get a bit of silver in on there as well at some stage. Yeah. Let's put him to one side, so we know we need a little bit more work on him. Try and remember what we have to do on him. Yeah, I bought a pack of ABC brushes. Cheap, but the problem is the tip. I find the tip always bends over, which is the problem, and I don't get that with the Series 7s. The ABC brushes don't last as long, but they are much cheaper, to be fair. Well, I don't know where you are in comparison to where I buy mine, but the Series 7s from the local art shops, they are, I'll get back into the view, the ones I buy tend to be anywhere between £12.90 and £13.50 for a brush. That's UK pounds. so they are not cheap. But hey ho. We're trying to get the best brushes that we can. Yeah, let's try not to get it on the chainmail and on the helmet. Fortunately, the wash will cure a few of the problems. The little bits that you miss, the wash will just go in there and make a shadow, which is all good. Paint the eyes. I don't paint the eyes. We'll say I don't paint the eyes. Only if the model requires really good painting. I don't paint the eyes very often now. I like comparing figure painting to the great masters in the galleries. What I love going around in galleries is looking at the paintings. Oh, let's get back into there. Is looking at the paintings and looking at the shortcuts that they made, so that the shortcuts that they make to deceive the eye. I think that is true mastery. The shortcuts that you can make to deceive the eye. From the distance that they are to be viewed, and that's I think we get difficult, don't we, with our painting, because we paint things very close up and we're looking at the detail very close. However, when you put it on the table to game with, you're looking at it from a much further away viewpoint, and you can't see the little inconsistencies that you've got, and it's the mass effect that deceives the eye. So yeah, it's what you're after, isn't it? Each little figure could be a miniature work of art, or they can look a cohesive and good unit on the tabletop, and it doesn't have to be a superb painting. I think accurate painting is probably the key thing to aim for. And if you can make your painting accurate, you're 90% of the way there. Yeah, always paint for 3 feet away. I do. I like to get it neat and I like to get it accurate. But how long is it going to take me to paint to my top standard? And to be fair, I haven't got that amount of time to live to paint it and to play the games. So that's what you got to do. You got to make your choices. probably do need to get myself either a 2 or 3 Series 7 brush. Just to do those bigger bits of area. It is. It's lifetime constraints are get in the way. What has been funny is that I've been medically retired for some time now, and I've got into a routine at home of myself and doing things. But now that my wife is home, working from home, my routine doesn't mesh with her. And I seem to have more things that I need to do in the day, which is funny, that. So the time I get for hobbying has gone down. There's life. So it might mean that I've not been doing enough while she's been at work. So that could be the case. Could well be the case. Got to work out how to get things a little bit more central. But the difficulty is, for the setup that I have, my webcam is resting on my keyboard. And as I say, we're only about 6 inches away from the camera, because it's got to be that close to pick up that detail. And to keep it in sort of some sort of focus. I wonder, I've got my light is is that a bit better? Not as much glare. Don't know. It's all tricky. So trying to see how it looks like on the feed on Facebook, bugger, YouTube. Getting confused with me social media platforms. What a surprise. Oh yes, Huguenot Lanzknechts for the French Wars of Religion. I did a 15mm French Wars of Religion army back in 1983 using Mike's models 15mm, and I got rid of them and I regretted it to now. I do regret it. Yes, French Huguenots. We have a family connection to the French Huguenots. Hang on, my throat is getting very dry. Not that it's COVID-19 or COVID-19. I've got one less saliva gland than I should have. So there we go. Yeah, 7 years wars, but French Wars of Religion. My wife is a Huguenot descendant. Her family moved to the British Isles in 1670, and her dad was the president of the Huguenot Society in London. So yeah, we have a little connection to the French Huguenots. And he did dig out from some of the books, because he was the head librarian for the Huguenot Society, fluent French speaker, and as part of World War II, in the latter stages of it, he went to France in some form of intelligence role. But yeah, he dug me out of bits of information on the Huguenots in war and battle, and gave me some references, which sadly since then I've lost, as you do. Right, bit of silver touch up. They do still do some of them, yeah. And I have been looking at them wistfully. I have got a 15mm Muscovite army with Mike's models. I kept it. I did keep that one, and I just don't have an opponent to play it against, which is sad. But John has been talking about the old WRG Renaissance rules and getting them out, or even trying some of the newer To the Strongest or Lion Rampant, trying some of those with the 15mm figures that we've got. Whether I can get John to buy a 15mm Renaissance army, I don't know. I'm going to have to work on him very, very carefully. Morning, Jono. Just talking about you. Your ears must have been burning. What's it like to be 60? Yeah, French lace, lots of things like that. Silver working, all things like that. Well, what's next on this list of things to do? Fortunately, I think that's the base coats of mostly all of them done, with the exception of the head, which is on the pole. Yeah, 28mm pikes, particularly if you get the metal ones. Yeah, they were very serious injuries. God, this is a... There we go, John. That's one of your ancient Britons. It's gone missing. Now you know where he is. Oh, about it. There's not a lot of it you can see, but hopefully when the wash goes on, it will come up. Now, where is that brush? No. It's got to work. I've got to work in with the old Muscovites, John. I'll have to get the book out and have a look and see what we need. Now there you go. Army lists 1420 to 1700. How about that? Oh, look at all those. Muscovite Army 55. 1420 to 1550, yeah, I can do that. And 1550s to 1629, I can do that too. French Wars of Religion, Huguenot Army. Yeah, oh look. Might have to look at Mike's models. Yeah. That's what we look to do. Oh. There's a blast from the past, eh, John? So, quick shade soft tone is what John recommends. And I must admit, I have changed over to them. So on we go. And see a start of the colour change. It's more or less just as it comes out of the pot, but darken the bits down. This is the time consuming bit. A Hungarian or Wallacine, yeah. No, I haven't tried the the free downloads from Osmo yet. I haven't. There's not anything that's really taken my fancy. Cool. How did I miss that bit? Oh dear. No. Alright, the soft tone on metal does give a bit of a brownish tint to it, and that's why I tend to then go over it again with the Nuln oil, just to give it that sort of darker wash. But that's the going on. He has got a moustache. I'll have to try and paint that with a bit of dark German dark brown. So let's splash it all over, as Henry would say. I see that Brute are doing adverts again nowadays. I have to get me I have to get some old Doc Martens and get some Ben Sherman and some stay press, two-tone stay press. Start that up again, eh, John? Yep, 6 Celtic cavalry, as long as they're unarmoured, it would appear, for the British. No armoured cavalry. I do need to place an order with Aventine Miniatures. Get some auxiliary bowmen and some auxiliary cavalry. Just 6 cavalry and a unit of 8 bowmen. Hey, karate. Oh god, yeah. Now that is funny. Oh, I'm out of the view again. But yeah, you need to let me know, people, when I stray. Oh dear. Now, do you remember? Now, this is a confession time, guys. I don't know if people will remember it. There was was it called Denim? I think it was called Denim, and I think that was aftershave as well, or something like that. And Denim used to run a feature in Jackie magazine. We're talking around about 1975, 76, possibly 76. I think that sort of time. And a girl I was going out with at the time submitted my photo to Jackie magazine for Denim Super Guy of the month, and I actually happened to win it. So I have a picture in Jackie of me for Denim Super Guy of the month. We got a 25 quid voucher and a mono portable tape recorder. Now we're talking, that was a big thing then. Yeah, blue denim. Yeah, that was a big thing. So she kept the 25 quid and I got the tape recorder. But my children have been so pleased to be able to feel embarrassed about me, or me feel embarrassed about having that, that they do enjoy looking at the pictures of that. Which is a giggle, really. This unit will be the 4th auxiliary unit. So at the moment, so far painted, I've got 3 auxiliary units of 8 and 2 legionary units of 8. I don't know if it's bragging. Yeah. What are you working on at the moment, John? Oh, you said, didn't you? The 6 Celtic cavalry. Oh, where was it? Did I get sidetracked? I probably did get sidetracked. About Tabletop Simulator. Yes. I think if we can get it going, perhaps we have a look on there, John, and see if we can find Romans and Ancient Britons. And I could always approach Rich at Two Fat Lardies to see if he'd like to send us a PDF so that we could try it. Might be a bit late for the bandwagon of play testing of it, but you never know. The old adage, if you don't ask, you don't get. Yeah, these Victrix. Ah, already found the ancient British and the Roman stuff. Excellent. I did last night download Blucher, some Blucher armies. Well, not download them, but hit the subscribe to them. So some Blucher tables with Napoleonic figures, but I also got some American Civil War figures as well to have a look at on the old Tabletop Simulator. Yep, I probably answered it already, but my mind's not as good as it was. So Victrix figures, these ones. I think I need a new wash brush. This one's seen better days. Alright, that's the wash of them for the moment. Well, the first wash for the brown. So this is the one that I started with. He's just about drying out. And then once he's fully dry, we'll put the Nuln oil over the silver work. So at the moment for this one, he's had his wash, and I've highlighted back up the flesh. So the next bit is to put a layer on the red. So this basic red is Mephiston red from GW. So the next up I'll put on him is Evil Scarlet. and that should come out all right. Oh, the Afghans from Eccentric. We have had a little look at those. We have had a little look at the Atlantics. We're currently playing on Tabletop Simulator, and that's what we'll probably put up later if John's free and I'm free. We'll carry on with the game that we're playing, and it's Rorke's Drift. Mardy's not the old Zulus against the British, and I'm the British. And we're trying out the men that would be kings for it, and I'm not sure we're 100% sold on the men who would be kings. They're okay, but you'd probably... I'm thinking more of a... I don't know, a meld of both of the rule sets, but that might be just too tricky for us to remember. But Rebels and Patriots, yeah, we might try it with Rebels and Patriots rather than men that would be kings if we go down that route of using Afghans. But I think the Afghans will probably be somewhere down the line for our gaming, I think. So yeah, I think infamy first off is to get that sorted, and then see where we go from there. But we do quite like Rebels and Patriots. It's been a fun little game to play. Hang on, is that me getting messages through? Let's have a quick look. It could be a message, get me dinner. I'll be with you in a tick. No, that's just the family Facebook or Messenger group going. Right, I've probably got another few minutes to go till my lunch making services are required. So let's have a look. Putting the red on. God, dear. Just got to then try and leave some of the under. Let's see, if I move that across, will it get too dark? Yeah, possibly a little bit. Yeah, it needs the light. Let's bring it back. Yeah, so to leave some darker. Yep. Her mistress's voice. So I'm going to have to do some bits and pieces. Yeah, we'll do in a tick. So leaving some of the dark of the Mephiston and the wash to show through, to give a little bit of a impression of the gaps between the plates. So yeah, just concentrate a little bit more on those. and then the next layer up from this one, I find that this triad works really nice. Mephiston, wash of, then a wash of the soft tone, and then a layer of Evil Sun's Red, and it gives you that gap between the plates, and then a highlight with Vallejo Scarlet, and it's worked very well for my British. Yep, worked very well for the British, because that's what the one there is. It's a little bit red under this light, a little bit orange under this light, but it is more of a red. It tends to bleach out the highlights. So that's the first bit of red, first layer. Right, there it is. Yeah, I think that would be the way to use the list from Men Who Would Be Kings, and then transpose it or transport it into Rebels and Patriots, and that's what John and myself was talking about the other night when we were playing the Men Who Would Be Kings side of it, seeing if it would work. You would just have, I suppose, if you're looking at, because in Rebels and Patriots you can make units bigger up to 16, I think. Is it 16 or 18? It could be 18 because it's in multiples of 6, isn't it? Yeah, so in Rebels and Patriots you can make units up to 18, so you can do them from 6s up to 18, but obviously you'd have to think about the attributes that you would attach to each unit to give it the same mechanisms that it would use, or leadership type it would be in Men That Would Be Kings. But we shall see. Right, so that's a little bit of red done on there, just to bring it up and highlight it. You can't really see it so well under this light, but you get the idea. I suppose that's where DSL cameras score over Logitech webcams. I'm certainly hoping that Lost Ark will remain in business. Hopefully they can get the furlough payments through to keep them going, and Mick, who runs it, can get the finance to keep it open. That is the big ifs. Back in a minute. Just going to go put the oven on. Right, back for the moment. So, it does look like lunches are going to be required very shortly. So I'm just going to give a little bit of a wash of one figure with the black Knoll oil, so you can see how it changes it. Got to try and find somewhere where to put the Knoll oil where I'm not going to knock it over and spill it. That is the risk. Right, there's a little bit in the pallet. Lid firmly and securely on. So yeah, so there we've got our little man, and you can see it's a bit of a brown tinge to it. So we're going to just go over a little bit with the Knoll oil. Just very sort of light smattering. I love that word, smattering. As you can see, it's just starting to give that little bit of dark. Of the metal. It really, I really have liked the way that the soft tone and the Knoll oil go together on it. And then once I've done that, I just give it a very, very light dry brush with the original iron breaker that I used. And that picks up the metal colours very nicely. So it's taking it from the brown and giving it more of a black, and then once you give a little bit of dry brush over the top, it brings it up very nicely as to the metallic colour. So that will be me for the moment. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for coming along and chatting. It's been very nice to have people. And time to put my chef's hat on and sort out dinners for those that are working. So look out tonight. I can't. We may well start about 7:30. Do you think, John? If we can get that timing. Let's see. We may be able to get and stream some of our Men That Would Be King Rorke's Drift up and running, just to give it a go and see how it works. So thanks very much for coming along on the journey, as they say, and catch you soon. And keep safe, stay at home, and don't put yourself at risk. See, that's a much better message than the Queen. But we'll meet again later.